Meet Tayo, one half of the duo Bricks with Tips, a property expert, financial educator, and the face you've seen on national TV, breaking down the world of money and real estate, from helping thousands of people invest smarter to building his own property portfolio. Tayo's mission is all about making wealth accessible for everyone, and now he's heading to Dubai, taking his message global and empowering even more people to build their future. This episode is available now on YouTube and all podcast platforms.
Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of the Property Strap. Today we're joined by a good friend of mine, Bricks with Tips. What you saying, bro?
I'm there. Happy to be back, bro. It's been a minute, right?
In a minute. It's been a
How
minute
long has it
since
been?
It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. Obviously,
More than 18 months.
yeah, plus 18 months. But to be fair, it's been crazy. I know there's a couple of episodes we're dropping at the moment with just the guys just kind of talking about what we're up to. But today is just a more catch up with you. I know there's a couple of updates as well we got for the listeners just in terms of where you're at with things and stuff like that. So, yeah, just want to catch up basically, just see what you're up to, get your opinions on a couple of topics as well. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So where are you at the moment, bro? I know you have a UK, Dubai, or anywhere else. So where are you at the moment?
Currently in Dubai, bro. Currently in Dubai. Coming back to the UK on Sunday.
Nice.
But currently in Dubai.
Nice. How's it been? When did you actually officially move to Dubai? When was that?
Yeah. So the move was, depending on when you're listening to the podcast, but it was nine months ago, basically. Moved with the whole family 9 months ago. That's a Property Strike exclusive, you know. No one on socials knows I moved. So Property Strike. To be fair, on YouTube, we make it clear that we moved. On Bread and Butter podcast, we make it clear that we moved. We haven't really put it on socials, but yeah, we made the move. The whole family, kids are in school, loving it, man. Decided to kind of like take that leap. No, we didn't decide in January. So we moved 9 months ago, but we only decided like 4 months before that. So it was quite knee jerk, quite quick. It wasn't out of the blue, but it was out of the blue at the same time. If that kind of makes sense.
What were some of the things that that kind of brought about the move? What was some of the thinking that you had?
Yeah, I'm glad you said some, right? Because there's quite a few things, and it's always hard for me to say all of it at once, right? But a number of things, right? I think that just as a whole, the first time I ever thought about moving countries on my trips to like Nigeria or Ghana and so on and so forth. And the main reason is that I just feel like I need to live in a developing country, right? Somewhere that's kind of like fluid, somewhere that's growing. I can see the growth in front of me. Dubai definitely gives that. Like when you go to Dubai, there's two types of trips that people have to Dubai, right? They have the glitz and glamour one, but when you actually come and like lock in, you'll kind of find that like there's an element of pride in everything they do. The ambition is in the air. They take things very, very seriously, right? Another thing is the time zone works really, really well. I've recently done a few trips to America. When you're self-employed and you're in America, it's the worst thing ever. You wake up and you answer emails. Yeah, it's just the wrong time zone. You're on the wrong end of the time zone. So you wake up and you're responding to emails that people sent to you like 7 hours ago, by the way. And then when you respond to them, they're only online for like an hour. So everyone misses each other basically. It's ridiculous. And especially if you're self-employed, it's the worst. Whereas Dubai is the opposite, right? If I wake up at 7 a.m. in Dubai, right, it's 4 a.m. in the UK. So I can send a load of stuff to a load of people before they've even woken up, basically. When they have woken up, it's kind of like, it's a much easier day, much slower day. Safety is crazy in Dubai. I feel like my kids are safe. The amenities are crazy. Like I put in my diary, and if I give myself a lunch break, I'll just go to the pool, which is like 30 seconds away with the kids when they come back from school and come back and just work. So yeah, a number of things. I'd say convenience, safety. I haven't even mentioned no tax. Can you imagine? And that's because when you actually move, you realize that the tax is great. The no tax is great, but if they wanted to charge tax, they could have it, right? So yeah, I think that that's kind of a few of the reasons why.
No, it makes sense, bro. I think what's been really good to see actually is just how relaxed you are when we do catch up. Just a couple of weeks ago, we met up And we'll get into some of the stuff we were talking about when we did meet up, because I think it'll be important for some of the listeners to hear. Obviously, what you're doing at the moment, and obviously what we're coming together to do as well. Because there may be people interested in that opportunity as well.
Of
Um,
course.
but yeah, every time I see you now, I feel like you're way more relaxed. I think like it feels like you've got a better balance on things. I even saw you yesterday on Insta on doing paddle. You know what I mean? And like the
Yeah.
amount of work I know you get up to is like the fact that you got time to just kick back, play paddle. It just shows that you found your lane in terms of you're making the money, you're doing the right things. You've got a big family that you look after, but you've also got that leisure time where you can just relax, put your head down. I think that's really for all of the guys that are doing business in the UK. I feel like I see the hard work, but sometimes I don't really see the relaxation. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've been seeing.
You
Yeah,
you got the nail on the head.
yeah.
Sometimes in the UK, this is another one of the reasons I left. I always say to people that the year before I left, I felt like we as a household, myself and Antoinette, we did like double what we did the year prior. And our lives didn't really change that much. Like we went on a few more holidays. I feel like what you get in return, and this isn't a bashing UK kind of conversation because I still do think that UK is perfect for people. UK is probably the best country in the world for me to get a come up, right? But once you hit like near enough middle class,
Mm,
it just almost feels like you can just keep working and working and working. You don't really have nothing to show for it.
mm, mm,
Oh, not only in Dubai, this isn't a Dubai top thing anyway. Dubai is where I'm at because of schools mainly. That was the main tipping point, right? If I didn't have children, I reckon I could be in Ghana or Nigeria, to be quite honest
mm,
with you. Anyways, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Dubai, in the States, what you'll find is that people actually do find time for leisure. If you clocks
mm,
like what I always tell people, if you clock when you go on holiday to the States, it doesn't matter if you go on Wednesday. When you go out, there's people still clubbing at night.
mm.
Tuesday, it doesn't matter. Monday, it doesn't matter. UK is the only place where it needs to be Friday or Saturday, by the way. Don't, do you get what I'm saying? Because people, we ain't stepping out in the UK. The UK's got something where it's able to kind of like, I don't know, take that relaxation away from you, bro. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because even the day that you saw me play paddle, right? We'll speak about the new agency, but I had a client that reached out to me on YouTube, said he's got cash on him today. He's trying to close something in the back, right? So met up with him, got a driver for 6 hours, took him to see some of the developers that I thought suited him, right? Really, really good day. Spent the whole day out. Then met a friend from school who moved out to Dubai for dinner. Then done a couple of personal admin bits. Had a call, and then in the night I played paddle, and I managed to squeeze all of that into one day. And like you mentioned, right?
Yeah,
In the UK, it'd be extremely difficult to even go about doing that. So yeah, I do think that you do have to hustle out here,
yeah,
but you kind of get that balance, right? And balance isn't going to surf club or going to all of these clubs, right? Balance is just like taking some time to kind of like enjoy yourself and stuff like that. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, love it, man. I'm hoping. Also, been listening to the Bread and Potter podcast. I've got a lot of friends that are enjoying it at the moment as well. But I kind of need to see Eman out there as well, man. I need to see the same glow that I'm seeing in you, in him. You know what I mean? Like
I'm with you.
I feel like it's something that's definitely gonna happen, and I'm hoping I can make the transition at some point soon. Like at the moment, obviously, pretty much locked in with what we're doing in the UK, but at some point, it'd be good to make that move as well, man. But yeah, let's get
Yeah,
into it because I know there's quite a few things you're doing at the moment. Um, what's happening with you at the moment? What's the latest? What's happening in the UK? Have you got anything happening here and also in Dubai? What's the latest?
yeah, absolutely. So doing a lot of things at the moment in and outside property. Myself and Antoinette are just like kind of pushing on all things. So probably easier to remember outside property first. So outside property, we're looking to invest in our first fund come the end of the year, which we're really, really excited about. Um, outside of property, for those of you that kind of follow our journey, you know that like we're involved in the location rooftop in Kenya, which was opened 3 years ago now. We're opening a nightclub, 1111, opening this 2025 October or November, likely to be November at the moment. So that's something that we're really excited about, putting towards that as well as being involved in it by way of being a project manager. Inside property, exciting stuff going on in the UK. Obviously, from Dubai, we're able to run our property investments that we own. So we've got a property portfolio, mainly on Airbnb. One is still knocking about as a buy to let. Also got a rent to rent portfolio as well. Rent to rent portfolio is balanced between Airbnb, but some have been converted to like supported living, temporary accommodation, one children's home at the moment, right? Um, Other than that, by God's grace, next month completing on the 7-bed HMO, which will actually do solely for Airbnb as well. Wasn't it isn't a conversion or anything like that. It needs a full refurb, but isn't a conversion. Buying it, it's already in the Article 4 area. It's already got its license and planning permission. Buying it as is, turning it around, increasing the value, refinancing the money out, and then going to run it on Airbnb. And then out in Dubai, open the real estate agency to help UK buyers buy over in Dubai with an element of trust, and also looking to complete on something hopefully by the end of the year, but potentially beginning of next year. Hopefully, I got everything right.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. And obviously, this episode is really just dedicated to obviously diving deeper into what you're doing in Dubai. Obviously, you mentioned you opened up a real estate agency. So yeah, man, what drew you to that? What drew you to do that? Because I know we spoke just before you left, and you said, "I got something for you. I got something for you." I was like, "All right, cool. Let me wait for you. I trust you. Trust
Yeah,
your judgment."
yeah.
Obviously, it's nice to kick off now. What drew you? Obviously, what we know what drew you to Dubai, but what drew you to actually open up a real estate agency out there?
Yeah, a number of things, right? So I think the first thing is that when I first came to Dubai, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to be forced into anything, right? So I wanted to keep my mind open, right? I feel like for me, like property, I do love property, but I feel like first and foremost, I'm kind of like a business person. I'm open to
Yeah,
any opportunity, right? So I wanted to keep my mind open, but I've built a reputation in property. I do see property as a way to help others, and that's one of my passions, right? So property kind of followed me once again, and I had a lot of inquiries for people that went to buy property, right? And I was handing them over to other agencies. So I said, you know what, let me build an agency myself, um, because huge activities in Dubai is around real estate as a whole, right? So built the agency, BWT Real Estate Agency, BWT Estates is the trading name. And what we do is that we help UK buyers, whether you're an investor or want to buy a home, buy in Dubai. Another reason why I did it is because even when I moved, after me moving, there was like 15 to 20 people that I personally knew that moved to Dubai in the 20 in the 12 in the 9 months after, right?
very,
So there's definitely that demand. The market is going that way as well. So sometimes when you build a business, you want to do it around the market trends as well. You're hearing that 16,500 millionaires are leaving the UK. Huge amount of them going to Dubai. The UAE has the most amount of millionaires coming to the country in a single year, more than the United States. We're not talking percentages, right? We're talking actual arbitrary figures. The UAE is not meant to have anything more than the United States. If we're
very,
talking numbers, isn't it? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So for it to have more millionaires coming to capital central, it's crazy. You can't ignore the numbers. And I wanted to work with my friends as well, right? With people that I know that are good and trust. And that's why I spoke to you, right? I think that's something really, really important that in the UAE, when you are an agent in the UAE, you're effectively, you work for yourself, right? Because in anything, people trust the person.
yeah,
Agencies, I always say to people, even if with myself and Antoinette with Bricks with Tips, right?
yeah,
Um, we have more followers than a lot of brands,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
people don't buy into a badge, they buy into a person, right?
yeah,
And it's the same thing with any kind of sales, and definitely so in Dubai. The opportunities out in Dubai, by way of real estate is absolutely insane. Um, a lot of developments sell out within the first day, within the second day. So
mhm,
yeah, it's been really, really good. Spent a lot of time building relationships with a lot of the top developers. And yeah, working with people in the UK, because a lot of our clients are in the UK, working with people in the UK, um, on the BWTRE team to help people buy in the UAE effectively.
yeah, yeah. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know the stats around it, but I know what that UK is one of the biggest. Well, in terms of different countries moving to Dubai, I know UK basically sits at one of the highest amount of people that are moving on an annual basis to Dubai. So there's already a market there, and people have to live somewhere. So whether it's for rent or to buy, they're going to be looking for people to facilitate that. And if they've got people that they trust and they're familiar with, then obviously it's just a no-brainer. So yeah, I'm quite excited to get involved in that. Obviously, I've been sourcing a lot of different kinds of deals, mainly working with supported living companies and also developers as well when it comes to like flips and stuff. I've never looked at the international market, and I've not really ever been interested in it, to be honest. It was only
Mm,
because it was personally you that was saying you're gonna work on it, where I was like, okay, I can trust the work with Tayo because I know his integrity, I know how he works, and if he says there's
yeah.
an opportunity here, then I want to see what he's saying basically. Yeah, that's why I'm even involved. I'm quite excited to buy actually because I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunities and a lot of money to be made. To be fair as well. So yeah, let's going to be excited to get involved in. In terms of the buy specifically, obviously you're working on off plan. I know you've done secondary and you can probably explain the difference between the two, but you're doing a lot of off plan. Can you maybe explain the difference between the two and then also why you've chosen to go down the off plan route for now?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So secondary is what people in the UK typically used to, right? In the UK, we typically do secondary. If someone's buying a home, they're buying a property that already exists, right? And that ties me into our previous conversation because the UK and most of Europe is already developed, right? Where sales are concerned, there isn't typically any real new builds. There is some new builds, but as you know, like the UK is an island lacking supply, increasing demand, right? So, and the thing is, the UAE will turn into that as it becomes to be more developed, which is why off-plan presents an opportunity. So the way I kind of tried to describe it is that off-plan is any unit that hasn't been developed just yet. But if we imagine UK just rolling back the years several hundreds of years before where somewhere like Stratford isn't even built up, right? Imagine the opportunity to buy Stratford, knowing what Stratford is going to turn into. Like what you need to understand is that there is huge developments that are currently 20 minutes, off-plan developments that are 20 minutes from the Burj Khalifa. If I try and break down what that really means, it means that you have an opportunity to buy property that is 20 minutes from the equivalent of like Harrods or do you get what I'm trying to say,
Mm.
Westminster. Like it's insane. A 20-minute drive, right? 20-minute drive, 15-minute drive. And that is the opportunity that the UAE is presenting at the moment. I'm going to go into off plan in a second, but I'll go into that a bit further as well. Now, what I've just mentioned depends on the country that you're in, right? In certain countries, that wouldn't mean anything because you question the value of that specific country. But when you look at what Dubai has been able to deliver in such a short period of time, a lot of other countries wouldn't be able to do that. When you look at who Dubai is attracting, um, people from all over the world. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of British people here. There's Irish, there's Australian, there's American, there's Indian, there's Pakistani, right? Dubai's got this, they've got a saying, build and they will come. And that's literally what's happened to Dubai, right? And the population is increasing even more rapidly now as well.
Yeah.
To add to that, right? Off-plan presents an opportunity where people are able to settle before Dubai gets fully built out. And there's a number of different places that you can look at off-plan properties. Now, how it works is that you're effectively buying something that's got to be built over the next 2, 3, 4, or 5 years, typically, right? How it works is that you'll put down a deposit on booking, and then you'll have a payment plan. The payment plan might be monthly, so it might be, oh, you pay 1% monthly, or it might be that you pay £30,000 quarterly, or whatever it is, depending on the budget and how long it's been stretched out for. A lot of it depends on your payment plan. So your payment plan could be a 50-50 payment plan. It could be a 60-40 payment plan. It could be a 70-30 payment plan. I'll explain what that means on a 70-30 payment plan. For simplicity, if you're buying an apartment that's 1 million dirham, 70-30 basically means that you would have paid 70% before construction is complete, effectively. On handover, you'll pay the remaining 30%. Let me make that an example in practice. 1 million, maybe you put down 20% up on booking, 20% plus your DLD, which is their stamp duty, right? So that'd be 20% plus 4% DLD, that's 24%. Luckily, we use simple numbers, so we all know that's 240K, right? I'm not going to jam myself up. 240K you pay. And then what you'll do is that difference between 240K and 700K, depending on how the developer works, that we broke up in payment plans. So they might say, pay this every 6 months, right? By the time you get to when construction is complete, you would have paid off the whole 70%, and they expect 30% upon completion. Now, upon completion, people don't normally just gather up 30% and put it down. People do one of two things, right? They either sell and flip and make a lot more money because off plan in the UAE is kind of like flips in the UK, right? Except that with off plan, you don't really need to do anything to the property. You're going to benefit from increased forced appreciation because the area around it is developing and more people are coming to the country effectively. So that's how that kind of works. Or what some people do is that they'll mortgage the final 30%. And depending on if they're living in it, they'll just pay the mortgage. If they're not living in it, the tenants that come into the property will just live in the property. So hopefully that kind of breaks down how off-plan works in the UAE.
No, that sounds really interesting. I think obviously I've understood it through you previously, and I think it does make sense. And it makes sense for why people, I think, probably best to go down the off-plan route, especially if they're remote, right?
Yeah,
They get
absolutely.
they kind of understand the landscape of the UAE in general, and more specifically Dubai at the moment. Then they can kind of get in early, buy cheap, and then hopefully look to sell later down the line.
Absolutely. And I think that just practically as well, it makes more sense to go down off-plan as well. The reason is because unless you're a cash buyer, let's look at another unit that's 1 million dirham, right? Um, if it's secondary and it's already developed and it's 1 million dirham, your options are a cash buy, which a lot of people don't want to do in property, just generally speaking, right? You're putting too much of your capital in one property. If you're not a resident, which most people will be at the time that they're looking to buy in Dubai, the biggest mortgage you can get is 50% loan to value. So you need to put down half and then mortgage the rest, right? And for a lot of people, that doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it might actually make sense for you to just do off plan where you kind of get a DIY mortgage, so to say. You get to break it down into payments basically. So you might do 60/40 payment plan, as mentioned before. Upon completion, you've paid 60%. That final 40% is now within the remit where even you, as a non resident, can get a mortgage that will cover that final 40%. And that's the reason why a lot of people do payment plans. I mean, off plan.
So yeah, I mean, before I get into, because what I want to do next is probably get into, again, this section might be a bit quick, but just to get an understanding of the landscape of the UAE, where does Dubai sit? What's local to it? What things are coming in, casinos, airports? What's an attractive Dubai at the moment? Also, if you've got any example of anyone that's transacted, again, I don't need the long elongated example of that, but just how that process was, in general flavor of how that might work.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk Dubai. One second, let me put the light on. Sorry for those of you that are on audio. I'm just trying to make it good for the video people.
No, 100%.
Yeah, so let's talk about UAE as a whole. So Dubai sits in the UAE, right? And let me talk about Dubai for a bit for you. Dubai has been doing a lot of work on their quote unquote PR for a long time. I'm a strong believer that even though Abu Dhabi has way more money than Dubai, Saudi has more money, and they're trying to bring more people into Dubai. I feel like what's going to happen is that when people now get pulled in by Saudi, they're just going to say, oh, these adverts from Saudi look good. I'm just going to go to Dubai. Strongly believe that because it's proven, right? There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Brits living here already, right? They've been settled for years. So that kind of explains Dubai. It's located really, really well within the world. The only place that's really long to get to is America, which is a little bit tough. It's a long flight. But coming to the UK, as you know, like in the space of a year, I've come to the UK maybe about, in the first 10 months of the year, I've come to the UK maybe about 10 times, to be quite honest with you. And that's because the flight's not long. 6-hour flight is overnight. I fly in the night, I wake up in the morning, right? Let's talk about Dubai as a whole, right? Dubai's main attractions currently, not main attractions, but main hotspots are downtown Burj Khalifa, Business Bay, Marina, and the Palm, right? these are the main places that people are going to go to where holiday makers are going to stay, right? Interesting thing about Dubai is that it's not big at all. Like anything over a 30-minute drive in Dubai is kind of seem like raw. 30 minutes, like this is mad. Like where am I going basically? For context, you can get to Abu Dhabi, which is a whole other emirate, in an hour. So that kind of gives you
Yeah.
how close proximity everything is, right? Um, a lot of new hotspots are popping up. So even if we look at things like the Palm, right? The Palm was a huge success. Villas on there that cost hundreds of millions of dirham, tens of millions of pounds, right? A bit further south from the Palm is the Palm Jebel Ali. Now, in true Dubai fashion, with the Palm Jebel Ali, they've improved on the first Palm. One of the biggest first problems with the first Palm is traffic because there's one exit point and one entry point, right? Palm Jebel Ali already has three because they factored that in and they learn and they develop quickly and so on and so forth. One of the big things that a lot of people are talking about is the new airport, right? That's going to be massive. That's coming in a few years' time, right? For context, DXB, Dubai's main airport, I think it was number one or number two of the busiest airports in 2024. Number one or two. Dubai's making another airport 5 times bigger in Dubai South. That's further south, further down. Imagine Burj Business Bay is on one side, Palm Jumeirah is on the other side. It's on the other side of Palm Jumeirah, not closer to the Burj, a bit further away, basically. The airport's going to be 5 times bigger than the airport that we got now. Apparently, it's going to be bigger than some cities when you consider the amount of jobs that it's going to create. When people think about the jobs, they think about airline staff straight away, but you need to think engineers, you need to think about just cargo, logistics, like all of these people that work in all of these kind of things, right? They're going to need the properties. In any country that you think about as well, any country that's doing well, developed country, there's always some kind of traffic around the airport. Like Heathrow is busy because the airport's near it. Crawley had a big come up because of Gatwick, right? Even if you look at Africa, like in Ghana, they got airport hills. Cantonment isn't too far from the airports, so on and so forth, right? So I think these things are very, very important to consider. On top of that, the final bit about that is that one thing about Dubai, which I love, is that they've got audacity as well. So they're going as far as closing the old airport. That's how committed they are to the new airport. They're closing. How can you have number one or number two busiest airport? You've got something that's successful, but you actually believe in better. You live by your own measures, right? Not the world's measures. You live by your own standards. So they're closing the old airport, opening a new one. And I think that kind of rings true why a lot of people like to live in Dubai, right? There's just like a higher standard. And then finally, just on that, people that have invested, yeah, I think the investment opportunities are huge. I think that as a UK investor, you'll do really, really well out here because as a UK investor, we're appraising a developed country once again, right? So you're still getting capital appreciation in an area that has existed for 20 years and isn't going to change. Like, if you're able to do that, you're doing well. Am I right? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, nothing's changed in the area. When you think about it in Dubai, if you decide to buy Dubai South, you know that an airport 5 times bigger than the busiest airport in the world is coming there. It's kind of like, so if you're able to invest in the UK, surely this is a no-brainer for you, right? But even in other areas, so I can give an example. So the reason I'm giving this example is one of my contacts from EMA messaged me today. They've just got a new launch for a development called The Valley. It's a family community, right? So they just launched phase 2. The Valley is 3 4-bed townhouses. Now it's a bit further out. It's further out than where I'm living right now, right? But phase 1 actually launched a long time ago. Phase 1 launched for 1.1 million 2.5, 3 years ago, right? 1.1 million dirham. For those of you that don't know the conversion, you just divide by 5, right? Today on the resale market, you're looking about 4 million or so, maybe 4 and a bit, basically. So in a few number of years, it's 4x. Now this isn't going to happen for all of them, right? But they've just launched phase 2. And phase 2 has launched at 3.5 million effectively. So that kind of gives an example of how things can change so drastically. Same development. 3 years ago was 1.1 million. They're doing a new launch at 3.5 million. The ones that are developed already are at 4 million or so. So yeah.
Crazy. That was it. I did want to touch on the returns, but that's kind of what I wanted to hear. Just what kind of returns are actually possible out there. Again, I feel like, and this will probably get into the next section. It's just we hear a lot of headlines with Dubai, this luxury, da 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 da. It like from your honest perspective, is it hype or is it real? You know what I mean? For the people who are
It,
listening.
in what sense? I need to understand the sense that you're talking about. Is the luxury hype real? Is the returns real? Like,
So I think there's two sides, right?
we could do both.
There's two. Let's do both because there's the buy that people only show, which is just the glitz, the glamour. People don't live there day to day, right? So people only see the. I've been there on holiday. You go there on holiday, you know what I mean. You're in the clubs, you're in the pool parties, you're having a good time. You're not necessarily living there. That's one side, and then also the returns as well. We obviously, as much as people try to slate UK, we still live in a very stable economy where
Absolutely.
you buy a property and you're gonna turn around and it's dropped by 60% because of something in the market. It's quite stable. So, what are some of the realities of both the living there and also the returns? I guess.
Yes, so let's talk about property first, right? So, from a property perspective, the returns are real. There has been crashes in Dubai, but the returns are real. I've seen, I'm sorry to say, but I met a lady once today, and she was talking about how she was going to buy a development in an off-plan development in Ras Al Khaimah, which is where the new airport's going to come in, yeah. And she worked in education. She actually didn't know anything about property really, but she bought one off-plan property, sold it before it developed, and bought two more off-plan properties. And sometimes what I tell people is that like this lady is an absolute noob. Like she doesn't, she's green, like she doesn't know in it. You get what I'm trying to say, but she's still been able to make bread. Now, not by any means am I saying is it that simple. I think there's fundamentals that you exercise in the UK, you exercise here as well. So, for example, there's a few main things that you look out for: the quality of the developer, their reputation, and their finish. Right. Quality obviously matters if you're living there, and quality extends to reputation. A good reputation is going to help your resale. If you're buying Ema, Showa, Bengati, people gonna buy
Yeah.
it basically. I always give the examples that remember Dubai's got an unreal amount of money. So the same way that when it comes to a bottle of water, if you only buy Evian, you don't care about the price, £2.50, £3. I want to buy Evian, right? That's how some people deal with the developers that they like. I want to buy a Showa, whether it's 2.3 million or 3 million, it doesn't matter. I've come here to buy 3 Showa units. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
People buy floors, people buy towers. Um, the other thing is the supply as well. So a lot of the better developers, they won't do an oversupply. So sometimes when sometimes some developers will build like 5,000 of the same one bed unit, which doesn't make any sense because when you all go to market to list it, there's like 300 of the same one beds on rent. So it just means that it's very hard for you to Airbnb or rent out your property that you've bought, if that kind of makes sense. But other developers like Ellington's a really good developer. For example, in Dubai South, they launched Windsor House, Tower A, Tower B, done. Does that kind of make sense? So that's kind of how some of the things that you need to think about. Is the luxury in Dubai real? Yeah, the luxury in Dubai is unreal. Like even from a real estate standpoint as well. Um, Penthouses up to 720 million dirham. Like what are we talking about? Do you get what I'm trying to say? I was at Bengati the other day. Bengati's got the Bugatti building. So they collaborated with Bugatti to make a branded building. It's got a car lift in it that can take your car up to the 40th floor or something like that. It's literally like it feels like a competition of who's the maddest, like who could make something the braziest, basically, and always trying to outdo that. It has its benefits as well because it just means that they are extremely ambitious in everything they do. Does your life have to be like that from a day to day? It can be if you want it to be, right? The thing about Dubai is that there's always something to do, always something to do. But your life doesn't have to be like that. A lot of people will say that Dubai is fake. I would slightly agree with them, but I wouldn't use the word fake. I'd say custom. And it would sound mad to some people that I'm saying that, but here's why I'm saying that. Somewhere where I can come with my wife and have a vacation. I can come with my friends and their wives and have a group trip. I can come and have a stag. I can come with my parents. and still have a 10 out of 10 trip on all of them, that's fake to me. Yeah, it's fake, bro. It's custom. It's almost unreal, right? And sometimes when people don't like Dubai because it's fake, I almost feel like um, you might relate with this. UK makes you think that things have to be hard a little bit. And you see it in the way the Brits speak as well, right? I remember an American said this to me, so let's take it away from Dubai. Why are the Brits always just like always erring on the side of like negativity? Like even when you ask them how they are, they say not bad. Why is not bad in your terminology? Like why do you have to say not bad? Like why can't you just say I'm good? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like and when you actually like look at it deeply, there's a lot of things in British culture that is around that basically. Um, do you have to be involved in the glitz and glamour? Absolutely not. Where I live, a lot of families live near us on a week to week basis. I'm only going downtown and Burge or Palm for meetings. Other than that, what I do for leisure, link up with the lads, watch football, go out for dinner with the wife, go out to kids stuff with the kids, play paddle with the lads. I play football twice a week. Play paddle probably once a week. So yeah, man, it can be very very chill at the same time. So you could make of it what you want it to. Just don't make something that's gonna write you off.
Don't go too far with it. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. We're getting to coming to the end of this, but I wanted to know as well, like for most people that are getting involved in, that might be want to reach out to uh, EWT estates and buying a property. I guess one of the things that I'm aware of is that you're very good at selecting the right developer to work with. That's one side of it in terms of the benefit of working with EWT. But also outside of that, what are some of the benefits of then coming through us to make the purchases? And also, just in general, do most people make that transition because of lifestyle or profit as well? Get insight into that. So the benefits of EWT and also why people are moving more often.
Yeah, I like a term, grow or die, right? I feel that in everything you do, you need to be looking at the future, right? You look at the future, if you're in property especially, or if you're someone who thinks about property investing, when you look at the future of the UK, 65,000 landlords left last year, 100,000 landlords left this year.
Mhm.
That speaks volumes already. Regulation is getting tighter. Do you get what I'm trying to say? In Dubai, they are open to business massively, right? So when you say what sort of people should be looking, are they looking for lifestyle or are they looking for investment? You can have both. Why not have both? And this is the thing. Like I feel like there's a lot of why not in the UAE. Why can't I go out after work at midnight for dinner with my wife until 2 a.m.? Like, why can't I? I can do it, and I do it in the UAE. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And it facilitates that. So yeah, I think that as a property investor, one of the things that you need to do in general, most people listening to this are property investors because I know your audience. You know that we always look forward in general anyway.
Mm.
Follow the numbers. Don't listen to what Akin and I say. Follow the numbers, see what's happening, right? See how many developments are being handed over per year in the UAE and how many people are coming. These people need to come here to live. And you'll see that there's a disparity despite what you hear on the news. And you can use ChatGPT to pick up those numbers if you want to. What are the benefits from working with us? The benefits are clear, right? People that speak your language, people that are completely transparent. We've built our trust with you over a number of years, right? So when you reach out to Akin, you will speak to him in a language that you both understand, and people can definitely know that they can trust him because of the work he's been putting in over the years, basically. And it's funny, I don't know if you guys remember from the last time, Property Strat was the platform that I used to read before we launched Bricks with Tips. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I'm either talking to myself and I say I'm talking to the audience. The next thing is that, look, you can go straight to a developer. You can go straight to a developer, but a developer will act like a circle is the only shape that exists. They're all good at sales, and Dubai sells itself, but they will act like a circle is the only shape that exists. And you might need a square. The only way that you're going to find out that a square is available is when you go to a consultant like Akin and I. When we introduce you to our developers, we don't charge you a fee from it. The developer that we choose that's right for you sorts us out. So you're effectively getting that free consultation and direction to the right developer for you at no extra added cost. So, for example, the client I mentioned that I went out with the other day, we spoke about his needs previously, and then I introduced him to 3 developers, right? Based on what he was saying through the day, it was evident that EMA is where he needed to be, right? Specifically for his needs, right? And that sort of stuff is super, super, super important. So yeah, you get someone you trust, someone that speaks your language, a tailored approach, and one thing that's super, super important, you're going to get the right fit for yourself. And that's in terms of where the development is, the price of the development, something that's really important, the payment plan of the development, right?
Yeah.
The number of units they have, and so on and so forth, right? What each play is unique. There's a lot of good plays, but each play is unique, and you'll find the one that's suited for you.
No, 100%. I think that's the best place to probably end it. There's one of the tools that we have on the back end that is probably one that almost like kind of got me over the edge as well in terms of working with you versus anyone else, and that's the tool that kind of looks at because basically get people fill in the details, but then also picks the best kind of equity project and also the structure for them. I think that kind of tool again is just perfect. It's almost like an AI tool that kind of looks at different things in the back end and kind of shows you what the best tool, best project is going to be for the client. Stuff like that, I could just see that we're kind of ahead of the curve. You spent a lot of time over the last pretty much year just educating yourself around that, and now educating the team around that as well, which I'm excited to get involved in. And yeah, I think a lot of people will be excited about this. I think it's going to be really easy and helpful for people that already want to make the transition or think about making the transition. So if that is something you're thinking about, definitely get in touch. You can DM us on Property Strat or at Bricks as well. We'd love to talk to you about some of the opportunities, and we've definitely got some content coming up soon as well. I'm hoping I can fly out to Dubai soon actually to do some content with you as well. It'd be good to do an episode that's there in person
Yeah, facts.
as well. But I'm sure I'll be around soon. Yeah, before we end the episode, is anything else you want to know on the socials? But the socials or anything else?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So, as you hopefully know by from the title of the episode, you can get in contact with me, Bricks with Tips, platform myself and my wife run. So BRICKZ, WITHTIPZ. If you want to learn more about the real estate in the UAE, you can look at our Instagram page, BWT Estates. If you want to reach out about real estate and purchasing, I would say reach out directly to Akin. So go to Property Strat or use the terms there, or use the links that he has. If you do reach out to me directly, let me know it's from here as well, just so we can attribute it correctly. And yeah, we're here, man, and hopefully looking forward to coming back and giving an update on how things been going.
100%. Probably touch base again on the pod in a couple of months where we've got some examples of transactions, and hopefully we can maybe bring someone on. Thank you again for your time. For everyone listening, stay blessed, stay invested.
Peace.
Nice one, bro. Nice one. End the recording.